lighter. I worked on I don't know how many of these, but I wanted to, I always, let me just go through it here and show you something. Okay. Well, anyway, these lighters have, well, let me show you. I want to show you this because I've been kind of struggling with this today and decided, well, I'm going to have to leave the flame height adjustment pretty high. All right. I want to show you something here. See how high that is? That's pretty high. Okay. Now, normally, what I do on something like this, I just adjust it with my screwdriver. You get it down, say like, hey, I want to keep it there. But then I go ahead and put the screw back in. And then I find out I don't really have any flame adjustment, okay? And the reason why is the valve system on this. All right? Now, a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot. Some companies, okay, I want to show you something here. I think I got a little diagram here that I could show you a little bit on. Let me get this adjusted down. Okay, now you see I got good flame adjustment down. I got low and I got high. All right. Now I want to tell you why I leave that up high. Some of these, I want you to kind of pay attention to this part right here, okay? This part right here has got a little O-ring around it, all right? It sits inside a tube, and it's got a sponge in front of it, okay? Then it's got a little adjustment screw that goes in here and pushes this plunger, actually forward against the sponge, okay? But the problem is with this, when you and I got to put an O-ring around here. Well, sometimes the problem is with this, that O-ring I'm using might be a little bit tighter than the one that's in it. So, because there is no spring in there, when you go to loosen this and get a larger flame, this little piston, let's just call it a piston, it's got to come back into the tube. And when you screw it down and compress the sponge, that's a low flame. But when you unloosen it, that's a high flame. So the only thing that's bringing this back is butane pressure. And so because of that, I have to leave the maximum flame adjustment height at a real high pressure so I can get this here piston to be pushed back so it opens up this sponge and gives you a larger flame. If I adjust it to where, well, I get a flame about like that, say like 2-inch flame. If I adjust it for a 2-inch flame and I put it in there, and when I go to adjust my flame, I don't ever get my flame height that I needed because there isn't enough pressure inside here from the butane to push this back because this O-ring seals a little bit tighter than before. And that's just the nature of the beast because I don't have exactly the perfect O-ring for this. So the one I'm using fits in there good, but it takes a little bit more pressure to push that piston back. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you guys out there are working on any of these Calibri lighters, whether they're going to be labeled anyway, they're going to be labeled like this, and here's labeled John Sterling, okay? But these are all made by the same manufacturer in Japan. All right, they're just They're just stenciled. Like this one here is stenciled for Calibri, and this one here is stenciled for John Sterling. If you look at them, see how they look the same? They are the same, just a different label. Okay, so anyway, my recommendation is when you do that maximum height flame adjustment, leave a lot of pressure in it so you can blow back that piston. Otherwise, your flame height adjustment screw here on the bottom won't work correctly. Let me get my screwdriver here. Just a second. I ain't got my glasses on here. I can see that little slot. Put this screwdriver in. There we go. Now we got a lot of pressure. I don't know if I have a valve system around for that, but I'm probably going to do, well, someday. You know what? I might have a valve system around. This one here, I think, I had this lighter sitting back. Look at here. This one here is for crown, but I'll just bet it's got the same mechanism in it. So, let me take this apart. This has been sitting here for months. I haven't even worked on it, to try to get it repaired, because I work on everybody else's lighters before I work on my own. So, anyway. Yeah, this is it. Well, let me see. Yeah, that's it. That's actually how that whole valve works. There's a spring on this. And there's a stopper in there. And right inside there's holes, the orifice. Excuse me. Let me show you exactly what I got here, okay? I want to show you guys how this valve works. I'm kind of a visual type guy, so if you're anything like me, seeing makes it a whole lot easier. All right. You got to be careful on these lighters. They got this little bitty part right here. And that part fits right inside that little hole there. Let me make sure I got that thing put down in there. Man, you don't want to lose them parts, guys. Let me get up here and look down that channel. That thing wandered off on me. Yeah, where'd you go? Well, it couldn't have wandered off there. I think it went there. There it went. Right there. Okay. All right, now. Okay. Now when you push on that screw, this screw right here, this screws into here. This is your flame adjustment screw, all right? Now, right inside here's a sponge. You can see that. Now I'm going to take this little piston out. What I'm unloosening in here is called the maximum flame height adjustment screw, for lack of a better word, I guess, but man, that's hard coming out. Man, oh man. Them old rings must be dry. Gotta have something like this until I can get this screw out. This maximum flame height screw is all threaded and it's got an O-ring on it. See what we got there? I'll try to get this in focus for you here. Alright. It's got a hole in the middle of it, alright? Now, let me get a little rod. A little small rod I got up here. And let me poke that piston and that sponge out. There we go. Okay, now just skip this for a moment here, okay? This is the piston. You can see that the sponge, well, it fell off right here on my finger. But I usually put a hole in these. That sponge actually looks very good. I can reuse that sponge just by putting a hole in it, but okay, here's what you got here. Now keep in mind, give me a minute here on camera. I mean, let me see what I did with that part here. Keep in mind, this piston goes in the housing. My autofocus ain't working too good. Okay, it goes in the housing. When I place that, it's usually bigger. Okay. Now this here maximum flame height adjustment screw goes inside. And when you screw that down inside, it's pushing this piston forward against the sponge, which gives you your maximum flame height adjustment. All right. So if I use a bigger O-ring on this, this little piston can be a little bit harder, to move inside that housing. Okay, so keeping your maximum flame height screw open Okay. Keeping your maximum flame height screw open. Because this here, what's got to happen here is this here. See, look, the inside of that. This here O-ring is just got to slide inside and out. Inside and out. I got this the wrong way. I just got to grab a hold of it this way. But it's got to slide inside and out. You know, if that O-ring is way too big, then this piston will just stay stuck in there and your flame adjustment screw won't work. So what I do to combat that more friction that I have inside this tube because of the O-ring I'm using, the maximum flame height screw is actually adjusted higher, so I got more pressure in there to push this piston back. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, inside here goes the sponge. And this here little, what that is, that's the maximum flame height adjusted screw. But, of course, this doesn't have a little pin in there. It's got a little pin in there because the sponge sets against this. Okay? I'm not putting the pin in yet, but when you stick that in, you're not going to push that off either because that has that little part that I had on the end here. I'm losing everything because I'm trying to look at the camera and do everything, but I hope that gives you guys a little bit more of an understanding about that valve, why you got to leave the maximum flame height adjustment on it a little bit higher So you actually have a flame adjustment on this. If I turned it down, okay, now it's coming. There we go. And if you get one like this, listen too, another thing is say your flame adjustment height isn't quite working well, run that screw in and out a couple times like this. Just run the screw here in and out a couple times, because it might need to loosen that O-ring up a little bit inside there, okay? I grease them up, them O-rings up, and stick them in there. But you got to remember that butane gas, it's pretty cold. So anyway, at least it is when it hits the oxygen in the air. Well, anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to say about that. I just hope that makes some sense to you if you're working on these type of lighters. Now listen, guys, like I said, this is a crown lighter. And this one here's labeled for John Sterling. I'm not going to put these together. This one's painted. I take care of them. And this is labeled for Calibri. Now, you can see one's a little bit taller. This one's a little bit smaller. But I've had them, nevertheless, it uses the same valve system inside the lighter. So that's how I deal with making sure you can get an adjustable flame height, by leaving, when you adjust that maximum flame height screw, make sure you got just an abnormal amount of pressure. Now, if you stick your flame screw in there, screw it down, and your flame adjustment isn't working quite like it should, then adjust the pressure up a little more. So hope that makes sense. You guys out there have a good one.